Hello, friends. Hello. This is Dawn McCoy with Flourish Leadership Group, where I ignite your leadership to the next level. Look, I am so glad you tuned in. It is just about that time of year where it is exciting every moment about what we can do and learn. If you're live, can you type a 1 in the box if you're live? Love to know that you're here. And if you're joining me for the replay, type #replay. Look, I want to cut right to the chase today. We've got so much work to do in our communities. There's a lot to learn and a lot to do with community engagement. And one of the most important things that we can do today is talk about how we can be better at engaging those in our community. One is to make sure that we are being on top of our game and getting people ready to go, motivated and inspired. And two, by making sure we're always at the helm of being in a leadership position, bringing people together, collaboration, cooperation, community, all of those key buzzwords. If you have not already tagged a friend or shared this out, please do so, because I want to make sure that we are inviting people along who need to hear this message of hope and inspiration for being community advocates and sharing. A few years ago, 2 decades ago, I had the opportunity to jump into some public service in one way or another of some of the career things that I've done, and being able to be involved meant being at the helm of community, being someone who was at the forefront of bringing people together and talking about what we needed to do to inspire people, to infuse energy, to bring collaboration, bring cohesion. And so one thing that always was at the top of my mind was it an issue, a cause, a person, something people were for or against? Nonpartisan issues. Let's just keep this all strictly about issue-based focus and being able to be for a cause. And so what I want you to understand is that we as leaders must be able to rally the masses and be able to do that around issues and causes, and do it in a way that inspires people. Many times people just jump into a leadership position, just go, and they say, I'm going to tell everyone what to do. Rah. And that's not effective. It has to be a leader who is doing something to bring people together and to think about how they can really mobilize people to do so in a way that's creative and thoughtful. I want to encourage you, if you have not already done so, think about what you can, examples in your community of those who are leading the charge, being advocates in their own right. In one of my roles as a leader, it was about making sure not just an issue specific or cause specific, but being able to map out a plan. Light bulb moment, right? To be able to say that we as leaders are thinking through strategically and very thoughtfully about what we need to do, a long-term plan. Some things are short little sprints and others are a longer-term marathon. I ran track and field and cross country in my high school years, and I liken to you have to really be in it for the thought of what you needed to accomplish, whether or not it was a sprint or whether or not it was a long distance event, it needed to be thought carefully about what you had before you. So I want to submit to you to think about how you are doing that as a leader, getting out in front of people, not just getting ahead and doing a short little run or doing something and thinking about it after the fact. That's not effective. Actually, I have a guide that I put together about a decade ago called Effective Community Engagement, if you can see over that little shine there. And this is my 7-step principles for making sure that people are effective leaders in what they do, not just thinking about it, but really practical in doing this. This is a CD and a companion that goes with the leadership fundamentals that I've talked about, a 7-step principle-based focus for leaders to be thinking constantly about what must they do to be careful, be thoughtful, and courteous about that. So with the 7 steps that I have outlined here, I've given you 2 so far. I'll just share one other just because I want to make sure you walk away with something systemic. But really, when we talk about building strategic alliances, it's not just something that we do frivolously. It's thinking carefully about how we have a long-term game with making sure we are engaged constantly with leaders in our community and others, and being thoughtful always about strategically. So if you're going to be building up and down, across, if you're going to be making sure to do something short-term, long-term, however it may be, I want to encourage you as a leader thinking about what you can do. So again, short message today, but for a longer-term purpose of being able to think about how we can be effective in our community leadership. And I mean on any endeavor, whether or not it's faith-based, community-based, whether or not you're doing something that is short-term, long-term, I want you to think about that. And in that, particularly thinking about what you can do with effective community engagement, not just jumping in, not just doing it to give lip service, not just doing something that's a short-term gain, but thinking about how you as a leader can be effective over time. The CD that I mentioned is available on my website at flourishleadership.com/ECE. And you can also get the companion leadership series that I talk about, the 7-step tenets of which community engagement is one. I want to continue to have you follow what I do across social at Dawn McCoy Books, and you can also check out what I do on the website. Type in the comments below for me, if you will, if you have something that's worked for you. I love to hear about what's working for people and how you are doing something in your community to be a leader. Follow me every Sunday evening here at Dawn McCoy Books. And as I mentioned, you can check out what we do 8 p.m. Eastern right here. Feel free to share this out with a friend. And until we meet again, folks, be enlightened, be enriched, be empowered. Have a wonderful week. Take care.